Hi, I'm Mark Graham, the Casablanca National Service Center for Casablanca ceiling fans. Also sun's up, and our website is www.fixmycasablancafan.com, where you can find all the parts you'll need to repair your fan. Today I'm going to show you how to install the conversion kit, which is the IT-3 system. It converts your old IntelliTouch to the new W85 controls and circuit board. It's a very simple process. You can do this either in the ceiling with your fan still up and the blades on it, but today for purposes of filming we're going to do it on the table. You can also do it on the table if you take your fan down. The first step is to shut your main power off to your fan, or if you have it disconnected you'll be all set. What you'll need for tools is just a Phillips screwdriver or a straight screwdriver. You're going to have your new wall control and then your receiver board with the harness plugged in. It's very important not to unplug this harness because your fan will plug directly into the 7-pin plug with the old one, but this actually converts the wiring because it doesn't wire up the same. So first, beginning by taking apart the fan. You'll find on your fan, this particular one is a Ventura. Same as a Panama pretty much. A lot of the fans come apart differently. This one is the hidden hardware, we call it, that has the screws up in the top around the outer edge of the fan. A lot of them on the older ones, they'll have the screws that come up through here and you'll have acorn nuts on the top. But this one, for purposes here, you have it going straight down through. So you get your Phillips screwdriver, you'll unloosen all 3 screws, and then when you take the fan apart on the ceiling, this fan bottom plate would fall right down onto your blades, sitting on your blades. Then you can lift that ring up, and on an angle, if it's on the ceiling, it'll expose your board. But for this purpose, you can take the bottom plate off, take your belly band, we call it, the ring that goes around the fan, and then it exposes your board. So now what you'll do is you'll unplug, they call this a BFR strip. Then you'll unplug your old one, wiggling it back and forth if you can to get it out. These do plug in pretty hard. So then I unplug our plug. Then there's Phillips screws, 2 screws that hold your circuit board in. You'll back out the one on that side. Just slightly back them up because it's a slot, so you don't have to remove them. Then you'll slide your board out. And then your old receiver board, you could discard of that. The ribbon cable here that's left, this is no longer used. This used to be the speed strip that would monitor the speeds of your board. Today they're monitored by a relay. The relay's in your new circuit board. So what I usually do is I'll either take this ribbon cable right off, I'll just pull it right out of there, or you can fold it back. It's only glued to the motor, so it'll come right off. Or you can fold it back if you don't want to take it out and just clamp it behind the new one. So then you'll slide your new board in. Once your new board is installed, make sure that ribbon cable isn't dropping down, because then it'll tick. This is another important step that I see a lot of people do wrong. Even your master electricians, they plug this plug to the 9-pin. This is a 7-pin from your motor, coming out of your motor, into the new wiring harness. You'll notice there's a clip on this side, and then there's 9 pins in here. You're going to want to line up your 9 pins, only using 7 of them, so that will leave you an empty spot on each side, one on this side and one on this side. The other thing you'll know that you've plugged it in right is your wires. If you notice, my wires are both coming out the same side. This side has no wires coming out of it. This side has both wires coming out of it. So if one was to plug it in backwards, you would have your wires just loop like this. And I have had them come back to the factory that people have forced the plug in wrong, and that blows up your whole system. After you have your system all hooked up like this, it's simple. Now you'll just reverse the steps by putting your belly band back on, your plate back on, and then everything will be fine. The next thing is the wall control. You'll go over to your wall. Once you hook it up, you'll take out your old W32. Does not work with the new system. This one, you'll notice, has dip switches on it. If you're doing multiple fans, you'll want to change one of your dip switches. and then you'll hook the black-white striped wire to your power wire, your hot leg. This one would go to your load, which is your fan, black to your fan, or some people have a red going to their fan. The green is your ground, goes to your bare copper. If you don't have it, just cut it off, and because your box doesn't have it. This third wire is your for a three-way. If you have multiple switches in the room, if you have two switches in the room, one at one entrance and one at the other, you would cut this cap off, and the red and the black are your travelers, and this is your line that goes to your power or your load, the white-black stripe for a three-way. In most cases, the guys are just doing single poles, so not three-ways. So you'll just use these two wires. Once those two wires are hooked up, you'll turn your power switch on. Immediately following your power being turned on, you'll hold the fan and reverse in for 7 seconds. Then you'll hear sometimes a loud audio beep, and then you'll be all set and it'll start working. Your new fan will work if you hold in your fan button. That's how you get your speeds. It'll start at the low and go up to the higher speeds. And at that point, once you're up at your high speed, you have to tap it once to shut it off, and then hold it in again, and it'll beep and a click you'll hear in your new fan controls. Each speed will have a beep and a click, and then you'll let go. With your light now will cycle up and down. So it'll go up. Once you're up at the high, continue holding it, it'll come back down and cycle. The fan does not cycle. So you'll just tap it once again, the fan, to shut it off, and then hold it and start from the bottom up. The reverse button is used for the winter time. The winter, I always tell people, you don't want to feel the breeze under your fan when you're standing on your fan. If you're standing under your fan and you feel a breeze, you have it going in the summer mode. Summer breeze, winter no breeze. Using our fans in the winter time will save you about 10% of your heating costs because of the heat up on the ceilings. So today, that's it for a simple installation. It's very simple. A lot of the ceiling fans do come apart differently. But basically, you know where the board is. They're all mounted pretty much in the same area, and they all wire pretty much the same way, unless you have an 86 fan. In our next video, we're going to show you how to do a conversion on fans older than a 1986 and back to 1981 when the IntelliTouch first came out. Okay, thanks. I hope this helps.